Welcome back to the channel, soap fans. If you have been wondering who is returning to the canvas, you are in the right place, because we need to talk about the days of our lives, comings and goings, July 27 to 31. This specific week is absolutely stacked with returning favorites, shocking twists, and legacy characters stepping back into the spotlight to stir up some serious trouble. Let's be real for a second. The summer sweeps have been a roller coaster, but the days of our lives, comings and goings, July 27 to 31, are about to push the drama into overdrive. First up on the incredibly packed roster for the days of our lives, comings and goings, July 27 to 31, the wacky and wonderful Susan Banks is officially back. That's right, Stacey Hyduck is doing double duty once again, playing the devious Kristen DiMera and the delightfully eccentric Susan. Hyduck recently snagged a Daytime Emmy nomination this year, and she called one of her storylines an emotional gift. Now, she is bringing Susan back to Salem on Wednesday, July 29, and she is on a desperate mission. Susan is absolutely convinced that her precious son, her Elvis, is transforming into his monstrous father, Stefano DiMera. And you know what? Susan is 100% correct. I have been saying this for months. EJ is completely spiraling into darkness. He is literally wearing Stefano's infamous ring, and his actions lately are purely diabolical. Think about it. EJ is currently covering up DiMera Pharmaceuticals' role in the arsenic-laced Coracil crisis that killed Sarah's patient. To hide his tracks, he actually planted drugs in teenage Holly Jonas's bag. That is so incredibly vile. Susan has always had these razor-sharp psychic premonitions, and she can see the rot taking over EJ's soul. But here's the kicker. I don't think EJ is going to listen to her. He is going to justify his crimes by claiming the DiMera family needs a ruthless leader. I absolutely hate this dark, irredeemable path EJ is on right now, but as a soap fan, I have to admit, it is brilliant, top-tier television. The psychological warfare between a desperate mother and her power-hungry son is going to be explosive. Moving on to the next major update for the days of our lives, comings and goings, July 27 to 31. Nikki Crawford is continuing her heartbreaking run as Lexie Carver. She is slated to share some incredibly heavy scenes with James Reynolds, Abe, and Tyler Joseph Andrews, Theo, on Wednesday, July 29, and Friday, July 31. James Reynolds recently weighed in on Abe's complicated love life, but honestly, romance is the least of Abe's worries right now. This storyline is completely shattering my heart into a million pieces. We all remember the absolute agony of 2012 when Lexie died in Abe's arms from a fatal brain tumor caused by toxic gases in the DiMera tunnels. It was one of the most tragic deaths in Salem history. Now, EJ has resurrected her using Dr. Rolf's Versavix drug, but the cure is failing. Lexie is dying all over again. I think bringing a beloved legacy character back from the dead just to kill her off a second time is a remarkably cruel move by the writers. A lot of fans think it's a great way to generate Emmy-worthy performances, but I actually think it is just unnecessary torture for Abe and Theo. Theo relies so heavily on stability, and ripping his mother away from him again is going to cause unimaginable psychological damage. Lexie is going to collapse after renewing her vows with Abe, and these upcoming scenes on the 29th and 31st are going to be a devastating goodbye. Keep your tissues handy, you guys. But wait, the days of our lives, comings and goings, July 27 to 31 are not done delivering the shockers. Let's pivot over to the Black family. Lorelai Olivia Moat is returning to the canvas as Kristen and Brady's daughter, the notorious Rachel Black. Look for the Black family to celebrate the young girl's highly anticipated release from Bayview on Thursday, July 30. Can you believe they are finally letting Rachel out? Let's take a trip down memory lane. Rachel is a total bad seed. She is Kristen DiMera's mini-me through and through. Remember when she literally shot EJ? Sending her to Bayview was the only logical choice, but bringing her back into the fold right now is a recipe for absolute disaster. Why? Because Kristen is currently terrified for her daughter's life. Kristen recently used Sophia Choi in a twisted plot to try and burn Johnny DiMera alive in an apartment fire as revenge against EJ. Now that EJ knows what Kristen did, Kristen is paralyzed by the fear that EJ will target Rachel as brutal eye-for-an-eye payback. The sheer irony of Kristen DiMera, a woman who has ruined countless children's lives, suddenly trembling in fear for her own child is just poetic justice. I love seeing Kristen squirm. Brady is going to try to protect Rachel, but with EJ operating on full Stefano mode, nobody in that family is safe. Finally, rounding out the massive reveals for the days of our lives, comings and goings, July 27 to 31, we have some sinister supporting players stepping into the spotlight. Maggie Carney is back as the delightful but dangerous Rita. She will be conspiring with her TV boss, EJ, on Friday, July 31. Plus, Nat Anglin appears as a DiMera henchman on that exact same day, and he will be interacting directly with Kristen. This is where the plot thickens, folks. Rita is an old-school Stefano DiMera fixer. The fact that EJ is bringing her in proves just how deep his cover-ups go. He needs Rita to help him manage the fallout of the Coruscant drug crisis and the ongoing kidnapping drama. But that henchman interacting with Kristen, that is the real cliffhanger. We know from the summer previews that Kristen's desperate plan to use a dying Lexie as a decoy to escape EJ's wrath completely flops. Kristen ends up getting thrown into a kidnapping transport unit. That henchman is undoubtedly working for EJ to lock Kristen away. EJ is literally kidnapping his own sister to punish her for the hit on Johnny. The DiMera sibling war has officially reached a bloody point of no return climax. The days of our lives, comings and goings, July 27 to 31, are setting the stage for a monumental shift in Salem. Susan's desperate pleas, Lexie's tragic farewell, Rachel's dangerous homecoming, and EJ's ruthless mafia-style takeover are going to change the landscape of the show forever. I want to know what you guys think. Are you excited to see Susan Banks return to scold EJ? Do you think it is fair to kill Lexie off again? Drop your thoughts, theories, and rants in the comments below because I read every single one of them. See you next time.